Welcome and hello, hello and welcome. Welcome and hello, hello and welcome. Thank you very much for joining me today on Un Poco Moss, the show where we give you just a little bit more. Some days we just mail it in. The show's an absolute turd, but once in a while I say something funny. Very rarely give any useful information, very rarely give any actionable intelligence. It's basically just a big word salad. Just a big fat guy man boobing for fun and profit. Coming at you on the interwebs, guys, but why not, guys? It's free. Um, no commercials. You can't really complain. You can always turn it off and go watch Stock Mo. I think you're really gonna like what he has for you. But anyway, of course, my given Christian name is Tabasco Rojas. I am the former Montreal Expos relief pitcher you love to hate, well known for having the highest earned run average in the history of Major League Baseball. Of course, they call me Hurricane Lopez. They call me Stock Karen because I'm a huge Karen. They call me Little Danny Cornbread DiCarlo, and you might be asking yourself, why do they call you cornbread? And I'll tell you, it's because I'm moist, I'm doughy, and I crumble under pressure. Of course, they call me the tugboat because I'm short in stature, pull more than my own weight, and I'm rarely far from my home port. They call me MC Al Dente. They call me DJ Patchy Drizzle. They call me many, many things. But anyway, guys, enough of my nicknames, this idiocy. I can't get away from those. If I had my druthers, I would say like 500 nicknames, but I know you guys have already tuned out by now. But anyway, I want to talk about SoFi. Um, it's just clear. Am I on mute? I'm not on mute. I hate this soft touch mute button on this Shure microphone. I wish there was some way to disable that turd. But anyway, guys, I want to talk about SoFi because if it's not obvious to you by now, they're kind of pegging the stock at $19.50. And I keep saying, you know, why would they hold the stock at the same level, at the same lows? Why would they bang it off the same lows? If you see what happens, I mean, this thing just comes down like a waterfall after the ER, bottoms out about, $19.20 here on the 5th of February, 5th of this month. And then it makes this little move back up toward 22 and then comes back down, almost goes through 19. I think it stopped at like 1902 or something, which is kind of interesting that they didn't actually push it down below 19. Not sure exactly why, but it's pretty obvious. The Bears could have pushed it lower had they wanted to. I think it comes down to the fact that they're not really able to stop out too many of us. And I think our hands are not as weak as they might have suspected because many of you have strengthened your hands through countless hours on the internet watching stepmom porn, various things. But that's another show. Anyway, guys, this thing's pegged at 1950, and all I can tell you is this: they don't really think this is a $19.50 stock. How do I know that? Well, because the smartest minds in the room, that guy from Star Trek, if you're watching Margin Call, you're literally a rocket scientist. You're like, speak to me as if I'm a 5-year-old or a golden retriever. You guys like my Jeremy Irons impression? Anyway, it's better than my Tony Beats impression. Hey, Parker, go fuck yourself. You can see your mouth. Any good gold miner worth his salt, his entire mouth should be covered by his mustache. He should have some dirty, gray beard. I love Tony Beats. Just so salty. I love an old salty character like Coach Sowers from King of the Hill. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna do some Iowa. I'm gonna do a video on prop. I will do huge ad by institutions. Thanks, spiritual schmuck. I've just been researching that. I think somebody left that as a comment. Maybe that was you on another video. So I have been way, way behind on my research, guys. I'm sleeping like 3 hours a night. I'm working around the clock. I got so much big dog work. I don't know why, but like wealthy people just want me to manage all their money and more are coming in. Perhaps it's because I made, some of my clients like 120% returns last year, millions and millions and millions of dollars. Might surprise you guys to learn I actually manage hundreds of millions of dollars in investments on a daily basis. A lot of that's in real estate, but a hell of a lot of it is in stocks and bonds and stuff. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I just basically work around the clock until I have that massive infarction. They take me home, and hopefully somebody does something fun with some of my money. But What happened to SoFi? Nothing happened to SoFi. You know, the powers that be control the price. We don't get to control the price, but I think SoFi is absolutely crushing it. And I think this whole thing about, you know, the stock is overvalued or the stock is fairly valued. I mean, you had the chode from Truist. We got two chodes in the mix. We got Matthew Chode. I think that's how you pronounce that from Truist. He's a real all-star. He's had 60 rankings, 18 were successful, and his average return is minus 10%. Looks like out of 5 stars, he has like 1/5 or 1/6 of a star. So this is a 1/5 of a 1-star analyst. I remember, if you guys remember Stock Goat at one point, he was like, he's a 1-star analyst. He's a 1-star analyst. God, I love this Stock Goat. Anyway, shout out to Kyle if you're out here. I know you're not watching this turd of a channel. You got better things to do. Looking all slick now. You get some gold chains. I don't know if I don't know what the Stock Goat's doing, but he just looks younger. He looks like he should be in Hollywood somewhere, not running a pressure washing business out in Florida, out in the swamp. Get out to Hollywood, man. Get that guy on TV. Probably be on, you know, some type of SVU. You could see him easily replacing Ice Cube or Ice T. I mean, Finn Tutuola. This is my new partner, Stock Goat. He's like, nice to meet you. Anyway, yeah, if we can pull some strings, get the Stock Goat on Law and Order, I would love to do that. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But the other chode is Timothy Chode, or Chodo, excuse me, over at UBS. But yeah, Truist just lowered their price target kind of inexplicably for me from 28 to 21. So I know that a lot of times these analysts, it's kind of they're chasing the price action. Nobody wants to sit there with a target price that's like absurdly high compared to the price action, even though I think that's really not your job as an analyst to chase the price action. But it's astonishing to me that a company like Truist thought SoFi was worth 31, and then they saw the ER two prints ago that was, I think, pretty much a home run, if not a triple, if not a home run. And then they lowered to 28, and then they saw this recent ER, which was, I think, was a home run, and you know, then they lowered their price target now to 21. Now, why are they lowering now? I have no idea. The only I did read it, but it didn't really make sense, the notes that I saw. Let's see. No, I don't like to breathe. I'm gonna sip wheat green tea. What's going on, guys? Yeah, everybody hates SoFi mainly because of me. I was born under a bad sign. God's always hated me. Doesn't like me because I'm chubby. What's going on, Lisa? Jay Bizzles, welcome and hello and welcome to you, sir. ET Vow, come on. SoFi, HCI, Hound. Loving today's hair. Thank you, Weeping Leader. Appreciate that. The user, hello, user. Um, I hear rumors the street Noto is going to buy March 2nd. Well, I would love to see that. I would love to see them, kind of roadmap what they're doing with that capital raise, because I think that's a lot of what's hanging over the stock. The great Carl Seamark has joined us, taking a break from the factory floor where he produces the finest mattresses coming out of the Midwest. It's Carl Seamark. Seamark mattress is the mark of quality. If you are very, very aggressive in bed, you want to get yourself a C-Mark mattress. That thing will hold up, even if you're fat. Anthony Skripowski is here. My port is all the same. Everything down for the last 100. I know, Anthony, and that they want you demoralized. They want you impatient. They want you, to be sitting there in a dark room with a tiny wang, sipping a sugar-free Red Bull, just wondering where it all went wrong. Well, I'll tell you, it didn't go wrong. Don't fear price action. Don't fear paper losses. When you're in these names that are extremely volatile, your portfolio is going to go up and down a lot, and it's going to be painful, and it's going to be euphoric when it goes up. You have to get that emotion. You have to get those little girl tinglies out of your investing. Look at the facts, guys. Become an evidence-based investor. Become a valuation-based investor. Become Joe Friday and just look at the facts. Guys, okay, let's look at institutional buying, because SoFi institutional ownership, The fund sentiment score on this thing is 89.25, which puts it in the top 1,000 stocks, 925 out of 32,000 stocks tracked by Fintel. This is basically whether funds and institutional owners are either accumulating or dumping the stock. And this is about as high as it gets. And you see why when you look at the institutional ownership over time, just had a massive increase. Now, a lot of this is probably the offering, or some of it's probably the offering, because when you think an offering is 100% sold to institutions and none of that's immediately sold to retail, that's going to tend to skew a little bit. But the facts are the facts. I mean, institutional ownership is now up to almost 58%. You still have insider ownership sitting at 15%. So that's, what, 73, 70. So even as a retail darling, even with us, Tiny Wing, Shoe Shine Box, All Stars, us, side hustle millionaires, us, I don't know, whoever the hell we are holding not as much of this as we used to be. If you remember, institutional ownership on SoFi was pegged at like 35 for a long, long time. And what I said all through there is this has to work its way up to 60. It moved actually sooner than I thought it was going to move, because it moved once institutional ownership got to about 50. But I think that's because the facts, the narrative, and the trajectory became absolutely undeniable if you know what you're talking about. What's the key with SoFi? The key, as I've been harping on and just repeating and just beating a dead horse until I'm, my fists are bloody, is basically that not only are their CAGR assumptions on the top line absolutely ridiculous at like 20, because it was just growing at 40 and management's telling you 35, but what's really important is that EPS is going to grow much, much faster than any of these clowns are modeling. And I've put together, like, I tend to think like a caveman. And that's not because I look like Fred Flintstone. I'm not the big sexy. I'm not Steve. Big sexy Fred Flintstone, smartest man in the room. Got a head like a big granite boulder. What do you think would happen if you took a headbutt from old Steve Areno? I'm seeing best case scenario, you're in the ER and you can't remember what happened. Worst case scenario, it's game over, dude. I don't think you could pay me enough to take a headbutt from Steve. Probably just keep his glasses on. His glasses are like made out of kryptonite and just completely indestructible. But I really can't think of a person I'd like to take a headbutt from least less than Steve. Maybe Baz Rutten. I was watching him do some. Oh, that guy's fascinating. Oh, fight science, man. Fight science. I'm not really an MMA fan. I think it's just because too many of those guys have attacked me when I was bouncing. It's really a tough situation when you just got a blacked out drunk, jujitsu black belt coming after you. You're just a fat guy trying to make a minimum wage score, not really looking to get your ass kicked and go to the hospital. Try to talk your way out of it with some jokes, but Brazilian guy can barely speak English. Just got his heart set on fighting you. But usually cooler heads prevail because they got some buddies with them, and most of the MMA guys are actually not violent, out on the street, but a few of them are. They're problematic. It's a problem. Let me tell you, it's a problem. When you're a fat, jovial guy, like I'm not, when I was bound, I bounced a lot. I bounced for many, many years. I wasn't like the hothead bouncer. I was the chill guy who tried to keep problems. That's why the owners love me, because I kept lawsuits away, diffuse, de-escalate, use humor. You got to kick somebody out, kick them out politely. You don't got to throw somebody through a window. Much better off, offering them a free hamburger. Say, hey, bro, you're welcome to come back tomorrow. We love you. We love you. We just don't love you right now. You're not the flavor of tonight. Anyway, Wall Street will crush this stock. Poochie doesn't like it. Poochie doesn't like it. I like it. Thought Poochie would eat anything like Mikey, but yeah, no one should pry your SoFi from your hands, user, because like I said, this path, this trajectory doesn't. I know 40% retracement is very, very painful. I thought it would be about 30 just because of the strength of the fundamentals. But once again, I was wrong. I was wrong. I realized quickly now that I was wrong. Um, what do I want to talk about in terms of valuation, in terms of EPS? I want to talk about incremental margins. I want to talk about why SoFi is built to grow. And as a caveman, I put together a model. I talked about this last time. If you look at 2025, okay, SoFi started out in Q1 making 6 cents. And this is, I know it was like could have been 6.5 or so, but just please, work with me here. Willing suspension of disbelief. I am extremely hungry. I need tacos, guys. If this video makes no sense, if this un poco mas is actually un poco dog shit, it's because I haven't eaten today and I'm grumpy and I'm a huge Karen and my blood sugar is low and I'm lightheaded. All I've had to eat today is wheat green tea. I've had like 500 cups of wheat green tea. And I'll tell you, I need this stuff analyzed because there's no caffeine in this stuff. Ugh. What's up, Emilio? I hope you're doing well too, my friend. Truist lowered their price from 28 to 21. Yeah, I know they did. Really, my nuts are aching. Emilio got a hair transplant. That's awesome. Good for you, man. You're like a 20-year-old kid. You got a beautiful head of hair. Would you get something? I got some hair moved from my ass to my back, just trying to even things out. Jay Bizzle's only stock that has been more of a winner for me so far this year is Zom. I do work there, so loving it. Interesting. SMCI is back to the 20s full course. I know, but again, try. I know it's extremely hard, but try in your mind to disconnect the actual performance, the fundamentals, what management can actually control from the price action, which management has absolutely no control over. And that can be, those two things can become very, very disconnected, even inverse in the short term, perhaps even the medium term. But over the long term, fundamentals, EPS, ratios, those things take over. Wall Street will not ignore a company with, extremely rapidly growing EPS. Now, SMCI showed that, but they only showed it for one quarter. You can't say we're back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I can't really sing, guys. That's not absolutely apparent. I love to sing, but I can't sing. I used to do a comedy act where I'd sing a lot. I think some of you have actually seen that, given some of the requests I get. But anyway, I appreciate those of you who actually know who I am being quiet. You sick bastards. Anyway, people used to come to my show. They used to physically attack me, but most of my shows were in like bowling alleys and street corners. Are you one of those crazy Jesus preachers? No, I'm doing material. I couldn't tell. Noto said to Tanner and Tevez that he will buy and march these prices in the interview. Yeah, no, I know that. I watched that interview several times. Great interview. Tanner and Tevez did a great job, but they were kind of awestruck. Like Tevez had that smile on his face the whole time, like the cat that ate the canary. I love Tevez. Love me some Tevez. Love Tanner too. He's a good kid. He's got that Bowflex body, little mustache. I was looking for the Tevez 3000 2.0. Here it is. That's my AI. That's my assistant. Let's take that offline. Yeah, you're right, Tevez. We'll discuss that in private. Yeah, SMCI will go back to all-time highs if they keep up the good work. Now, not through the lens requesting financial advice, but this is a good spot to start a position on SoFi. I think it's an incredible spot to start a position. I mean, I would have been very happy buying at 25 if I didn't have shares. And I was buying at 25 and I was buying at 21 and I even bought a few shares at 28. Maybe that wasn't the smartest thing to do, but I did it. So got to be honest about it. What's up, Brian with a Y? Good afternoon to you, sir. I cannot breathe either, Poochie, but that's mainly due to my man boobs pushing down on my lungs. It's the force of gravity. Steve would have bought your face through your dude. A headbutt from Steve is just an absolute no-win proposition. Seems like a pretty nice guy, but you can tell kind of by that kind of. I think he has some like red face Irish rage that if you piss that guy off, he would just snap you in half like a dry piece of kindling. Do me a favor, Google GameStop coin USD, check the crime. That is the market. It's up billions. Brian, what can I tell you? I mean, all kinds of these really speculative, kind of pump and dump, whatever you want to call it, the GameStops and stuff. I just don't play those. Like I play companies that I fundamentally believe in only. I don't usually swing trade. I used to day trade. I just got out of all that stuff. I can't do short-term stuff. It's just too much work. It's too much worry. And it's just unpredictable. And so, yeah, that thing that goes up 1,000,000%, next week it could be zero. What's up, White Sensation? Dynamite Farts is here. Dynamite Farts. No tracks full. Takes a headshot from the LaBouffe. Shiloh LaBouffe has been raising hell down in New Orleans, according to my friends over at Drudge Report. But I don't have any independent verification on that. But I love me some Shiloh LaBouffe. The movie Suburbia was good. He's actually a really good actor. Really good actor. I know he has some demons in there. Very frustrating, Billy Jack. Very frustrating. Not as frustrating as not being able to get tickets to that sold out Billy Jack at the Butt Crack Boys Festival. Oh, I tried hard. I said, I know Billy Jack. He's a viewer on my YouTube channel. They said, hey, fat man, no dice. No dice. We're sold out. I'm loving the market. I've been piling cash, freeing up more cash, DCing. Yep, that's the way to look at it. The way to look at it is, hey, you're not going to sell all your stocks tomorrow. You're not ready to retire. You're not putting one of your dumb kids through college. You're not buying a new home. You're renting an efficiency apartment after a horrible divorce. So, you know, you got time. Let time work for you. That was actually something interesting. I heard Staz, of all people, stay. I think Staz's forehead and Stock Goat's forehead are going in opposite directions. But Staz is I love Staz as much as anybody. But I mean, I feel like his forehead, proportion of his forehead to actual facial features is like 2 to 1. I've never seen anything like it. But anyway, I love Staz. Guys, if you haven't figured it out yet, Stock Goat, Stock Mo, everybody, Tanner. I only make fun of people I like. You know, that's that. I don't make fun of people maliciously. I just don't do that. I fried cube steak and baked potato. Yeah, fried cube steaks, Wago. Chicken fried steaks like the greatest food on earth. I mean, I love me some southern food. Maybe me and Billy Jack should open a restaurant together, and Notta Lurker can come in for the healthy stuff because I know Notta Lurker's a great cook as well. Um, Stock Goat is dead. His alter ego is here. Sugar Shane. I don't know. No, Stock Goat's gone Hollywood, folks. Let's face it. As he should. As he should. The Stock Goat's one of the guys who inspired me to start a channel. So Tevis and Tanner look like 70s porn stars. I know. I love those guys though. They do their own thing. Maybe that's the look in Canada. Financial education Jeremy, he kills me with the like blazer. He's got that like wrinkled blazer and the hat a little bit to the side. He's like, right. I don't know if you could get any more Canadian. No, Stock Goat's not dead. I just saw his video the other day. I think he just means that he's gone Hollywood. I'm not saying to play it. I'm just saying it's absolutely absurd. It's up 73 trillion%. Now it's worth $2 million per coin. Shock and awe. It can be like, is that real? How many coins are there? This is some kind of scam. I'm going to guess Eric and what's that other Trump own though? Like anytime I see crypto go up, I'm like, does Eric Trump own that, or Trump Jr. or Tiffany Trump? They've made billions of dollars since being in office. God, I wish I could get elected president and get rich as hell. Rich as hell. No, I wouldn't. I'd actually fix all the problems. That's what people wouldn't believe. I can't be bought because I don't care about money. I'm so simple and so goofy. It's like, fancy things like trying to put lipstick or a tuxedo on a pig just don't fit me. I'm best out in the hills and the holler, swallowing around the slop, the chop. I'm a grinder. I'm an underdog. I frankly get along a lot. I mean, I rub elbows with millionaires and billionaires quite often through my business activities, my clients, some of the richest people, you could even imagine. But, it's just not me. I feel like I'm a little bit acting. Where I'm at home is where I'm with my guys, my workers, my construction guys, my service industry friends, my waiters, my cooks. Those are my people because I grew up, poor, and I grew up doing really tough jobs, whether it was line cook or bouncer or mover or you name it. I did a lot of tutoring. Used to tutor little rich kids all the time, little fuckers. You don't have to pay your own way through college, do you? Working 3 jobs, you little bastard. Clearly not if your parents can afford me. Anyway, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, guys. This is the point I wanted to make. So I've been rambling for years now, but look at what they did in 2025. They went from 6 cents to 8 cents to 10 cents to 12 cents. So just being extremely simple caveman that I am, they're adding 2 cents to EPS every single quarter. Okay, now from 6 to 8, that's a huge jump because, that's a third. So it's 33%. And then from it, every time you add 2 cents, it gets less and less dramatic. From 8 to 10, you're adding 25%. From 10 to 12, you're only adding 20%, and so on and so forth. So if you just keep, now this is totally unrealistically conservative, but it tells you that Noto is sandbagging even more than you think. So look at 2026. If you just look at my model, they'd make 14 cents, 16 cents, 18 cents, and then 20 cents. Now I know this could be all undone if the economy goes into recession and everything falls apart. The growth could turn negative. I think they could even, roll back to a loss if the shit really hit the fan. But then all you got is your seed bank and your emergency food and your beer making kit and all your ammo. You got to be a prepper at that point. Come on, Tony, I'm starving to death over here. Can I at least get a crust of bread? You're like, go fuck yourself, Parker. Okay, I'll give you some lutefisk. I can't eat lutefisk, Parker. I'm not from Scandinavia. You're like, well, then go to hell. I don't know why I find Tony Beats so amusing. I just do. The show Gold Rush. You don't know who that is. Jack. I love Jack. Jack and Todd. Come on, Todd. Give it all she's got. I'm doing everything I can, Dad. I see you over there. You're eating a burrito. You're supposed to be running this excavator. You're eating another burrito. Where are you even getting those burritos, Dad? He's like, come on, Dad, get off my case. I got a slow metabolism. How are you mining just that fat? I'm not going to fancy myself. It's like me coming up to somebody and just saying I'm a marathon runner. Oh, you look like you're about 330 pounds with a big set of man boobs on you. And you're running marathons? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't judge a book by its cover. A lot of obese long distance runners out there. Not in Kenya or anything, but. So, guys, if you just think about the key to this whole thing is not only are they completely off on the CAGR is really going to be in the 30s the next 5 years, but the key to that growth on the top line is that so much of the growth is going to flow through to the bottom line. Now, what is an incremental margin, just in a very simplified way? And I have some notes here that I was working on with AI, but these are mostly my notes. AI never really, the way AI presents things, it never really is clear to me. So I have to kind of read it twice and then put it back in my own verbiage. But in terms of just plain language, the percentage of each new dollar of revenue that turns into profit, that's really what incremental margins are. So when SoFi grows revenue by another dollar, how much of that drops to EBITDA or how much of that drops to net income? That's what you're talking about when you talk about incremental margins. If a company has high incremental margins, it means growth is becoming more profitable, not just bigger. So this is what I was talking about, why SoFi has hit an inflection point. Last quarter, adjusted EBITDA margin hit 31%. Net income margin was over 17%. Management's guiding for EBITDA into the mid 30s range and net income into the high teens for 2026. Those numbers tell you something extremely important. SoFi's incremental margins are now extremely high. I don't know exactly what they are, but it's just clear they're increasing rapidly. And that's because of the structure of the company. That's because of how it's built. That's because of the cross selling. That's because of efficiency. But most importantly, it's like most banks or most businesses, if you have to open a new retail location, a new branch, et cetera, you have a bunch of new costs for the new members, the new revenue you're bringing in. With this digital only model, that SoFi is employing, like, most other fintechs, you just don't have any of those costs. So every new dollar of revenue is producing more profit than the last. That's the definition of an inflection point. Why incremental margins matter more than revenue growth? Revenue growth is relatively easy. Anybody can just pour gasoline on the fire and grow, but it's very hard to grow rapidly and expand, not just be profitable, but expand your profitability, expand your margins. And SoFi is doing that brilliantly. SoFi, let's talk number one, operating leverage. Fixed costs are tech, compliance, infrastructure. They're now spread across 14 million members, 20 million products. As scale increases, those costs do not rise proportionally. They don't rise even close to proportionally. They rise, in fact, very, very little, even in nominal terms. A shift to capital light revenue. Number two, fee-based revenue grew 61% year on year and now makes up almost half of total revenue. So this is the highest margin part of the business. Bank charter, low cost of deposits. So Basically, SoFi is now getting almost all of their funding from deposits. This is a graph we looked at the other day in a Seeking Alpha article, but this has just grown dramatically over the past few years. We're now almost their entire funding base, and that lowers their cost of capital by almost 2%. That is a huge structural advantage over their competition, and it's durable competitive advantage. It's not going away. It affects everything across their business, lowers costs across their business. So reinvestment in the flywheel. As margins expand, SoFi invests into product velocity, brand, infrastructure, and platform scale. This compounds future margins even further. So, what does this inflection point actually mean for valuation? When incremental margins inflect upward, the market eventually re-rates the stock because profitability becomes predictable. You notice SoFi, their profitability, their growth, just how consistent it is. That's what market makers want to see. Market makers do not like risk. Market makers like a sure thing. And SoFi is as close to a sure thing as you get in a rapidly growing stock. Growth becomes self-funding, capital light revenue dominates, operating leverage accelerates, EPS ramps faster than revenue. This is exactly why Zach's analyst recently highlighted earnings per share are increasingly falling to the bottom line. Margin strength could become a primary valuation driver. So what's the takeaway here? What are the learnings? Let me see if I can get Tevis, the Tevis Bot 3000. I don't know which one this is. That is a no-brainer, but I want to talk about the key learnings. We are gaining traction. We do have to. Oh, there. Oh, what would be the key learnings here? Thank you very much, Tevis 3000 2.0, my proprietary AI that we have here on Unpoco Moss. I tried to bring in the real Tevis and his team, but simply could not afford him. Could not afford him. How about that RXT and Palantir announcement today? Didn't even see it, Pat, man. I've been working like a dog. I've been fixing. My life isn't as glamorous as I make it sound. Not only do I invest for people, but I also fix toilets. I also fix locks. I also patch roofs. It's so hard to actually patch roofs in the rain when you're fat. You feel like you just could die at any minute. I don't even like going up 2 stories on a ladder anymore, to be honest with you. I'm just too unstable, too fat. My man boobs are kind of wanting to push me over the edge, pull me over the edge with gravity. But I am man boobing for fun and profit. Um, so incremental margins are now so strong that revenue growth leads to disproportionately more profit. That profit growth will lead to disproportionately more free cash flow. I know they don't have free cash flow yet, but it's still cash flow negative. This business is still slightly cash flow negative, but that's part of bank accounting. It's part of being a lender. Don't concern yourself with that. They have plenty of cash on the balance sheet, and I think something big is going to come from that. I think it's going to be an acquisition personally in the crypto space, but we'll see. And then that free cash flow will lead to more reinvestment and even more margin expansion. So it's not a vicious cycle, it's a virtuous cycle. This is the classic compounding fly seal you see in companies that go from growth story to scaled operator. And that's why you're feeling the inflection point, because it's real. I feel it because it's real. So let's talk about my model. Adding 2 cents per quarter is not just conservative, it's borderline sandbagging given the margin structure. And let's break down why. They added 2 cents per quarter every quarter in 2025. That's not a projection. That's what actually happened. So, and that's proportionally a huge increase. Now, as you get out to 2026, if I make the assumption that Q1 they earn 14 cents, Q2 they earn 16 cents, and 18 cents, and 20 cents, that'll be 68 cents EPS this year. Now, if I go to 22 cents, 24 cents, 26 cents, and 28 cents in 2027, that's a dollar. Okay, and that's slightly higher than the 40% EPS growth that management has projected the midpoint for the next 3 years. But then if you go on to 2028, and this is what I'm talking about, how this becomes more and more conservative, almost to an absurd degree, because if they're adding 2 cents to EPS, all through 2025, when they start with like 11 million members and they have 12 million, 13 million, all those new members are going to make them more money. All those new members, some of them are going to get on the flywheel. Some of them are going to cross sell. Some of them are going to recruit other members. Some of them are going to basically pay more than others. But it's unrealistic to think that EPS growth is just going to stay at 2 cents a quarter. It's going to go higher than that. But if you look at 2028, if they make 30 cents, 32 cents, 34 cents, and 36 cents, that's $1.32. Now, that's only a 32% increase off the dollar that I'm projecting for 2027. Again, I'm sandbagging this like a mofo. I'm sandbagging this like a fat guy who's extremely hungry, has to pee, and wants to go get something to eat. That's how much I'm sandbagging it. Sandbagging it like a tiny wing all-star. Oh, running out of green tea. This isn't funny, guys. Oh man, Fireman Pete's here. What's going on? I just clicked down, Fireman. Then my other favorite guy, Sean Vaughn's here. Second most handsome bald guy on the channel, just after Not a Lurker. And yes, Sean Vaughn, you are way, way, way higher on my list than a goddamn bald prophet. Somebody should give you a show. I'd rather get your picks than Kramer. Weeble, Naughty Toro. Sofi still talks and to buy Weeble. I don't know. I've heard rumors about that, but I don't know if that's active. I don't know how active it ever was. Yeah, the Canadian fintech mafia basically runs the entire sector. I think we know that. Yes, I have tended quite a bit of bar as well, Brian. I graduated from bartending school in I don't know where the hell, Stockton, California, I believe. Was briefly attending University of the Pacific on some summer bullshit, just stacking units over at what was the business school called there? I think I was working on an MBA, but I was still an undergrad or something. I can't even remember. That's a beautiful school, University of the Pacific. They put that in so many movies. It's in Stockton, but it looks like some beautiful little Ivy League school, little liberal arts college back in New England somewhere. It's all brick. It's just gorgeous. Bunch of rich kids who aren't that smart. Good school of dentistry. Good business school. I think it's a Eberhart School of Business, as I recall. Had some really good professors there, though. They taught me a lot. I took accounting. I took a few things, but I've taken a lot of business stuff. I don't have a business degree. I'm an econ poli-sci guy. Where I went to school, they didn't strictly offer a business degree in undergrad, so just went with econ, but it's a lot of same emphasis there. I'm scoffing a huge sub. I'm scarfing a huge sub. Oh, don't rub it in. I want carnitas. Fireman Pete's got the 17,000 shares of SoFi for his retirement. Yeah. Once he's loaded the boat, it is time to rip. I completely agree with you. Tortuga de Rio in the house. Tortuga. Welcome, Tortuga. He is playing some, what do you call those things? I can't remember. I was going to say mariachis, but that's not right. Hibachis. No, that's not, I can't remember. Can't remember what those things are called. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. PV 26 footer. Will Noto get his bonus by June 26th? Will they postpone his bonus? They can't postpone it. I do not see the stock hitting 45 by June 2026. That's for sure. I mean, that would be a hell of a move. So I don't think he's going to get that one, but we'll have to see. Castanets. That's right. Castanets. I thought those were those little clicker things that like Pac-Man, but Castañeda. You guys seen my new play, La Cocina? It's off Broadway. So listen. $1.32, I think in 2028 is extremely conservative. If you look at $1 a share, if they make $1 a share in 2027, that makes the forward PE way, way too cheap for a company growing EPS at 40%. Think about it. Think about how that compounds if you grow EPS 40% year on year. You grow the top line. And if they're growing the top line at 35%, you know EPS is going to grow a lot faster than 40%. Given the incremental margins, so much of those new dollars falls all the way to the bottom line because of the cost structure of the business. Anthony, I said this years ago, over and over. Nobody believed me. I said, hear me now, believe me later. Anthony Noto is so smart. He knows he basically built this business to be a free cash flow machine, a self-sustaining economy. If you're familiar with It's Always Sunny. Yeah, you should retire. No, I don't mean like, worked hard. I'm sure you got, good pension and everything as a fireman, but yeah, 40-foot Donzi. He's looking, you're a fisherman, are you? Isn't that one of those big fishing boats? Yeah, those are cool. Like a fishing yacht. They make some yachts that are just like fishing boats that are full on luxury yachts. It's pretty cool. Best of both worlds. Yeah, Noto will never get the bone. No, it's Poochie. You're absolutely right, or however you say that. He's not going to hit 45 in the next 4 months. That ain't going to happen, guys. Even the most myopic bulls don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that. Sheesh. I mean, think about the move to get to 35 from 1950 in just 4 or 5 months. The next ER will have to be an absolute humdinger, or they will have to do an acquisition that is really compelling. But he's not good at. Pucci, do you really think the management manages stock price? Do you think that's their job? Are you stupid? I mean, I don't, no offense, but yeah, that's kind of the mentality that just will make you go broke and make you lose long term is say, oh, management's no good because the stock price went down. It's just, it's such faulty logic. It just doesn't make any sense. I know the price action can be frustrating if you're a long bull and you know you're taking paper losses. There's no, I live in the real world, guys, but to blame management for price action, you're completely missing the point. You're completely missing the opportunity, and you're just not really understanding how anything works. But I know that's probably not what you mean, but you're just you're kind of 180 degrees from the type of logic that I use. You're just, you know, I don't know. I feel bad when people think that way because I just think you miss out and you end up losing. It's like, if you're just chasing what's going up and chasing what's high, you're going to buy that. It's like, well, would you rather have bought the stock at 32 when everybody loved it and everybody was saying buy, buy, buy forever? No, you buy the stock when everybody hates it, when everybody's saying dead stock, when everybody's saying, valuation concerns, when everybody's saying the overhang from the offering that was at 27.50. They're still trying to sell you that overhang from that offering at 27.50 when market makers bought millions of dollars from the stock. DC lights out. My net worth is 200K and 50K in cash and invest. 1 or 2K share count better. Um, Your net worth is 200K. I want to read this carefully because, again, guys, nafafepo, not financial advice, but I'll answer your question if it was me. I can't tell you what to do because I need to know a hell of a lot more about your circumstances. When might you need that money? Do you have rich parents? It's like some people say their net worth is this, but like their real net worth is kind of in the deep cut. Like, 'cause they're going to inherit a bunch of money. They got to whatever it is. But okay, if your net worth is 200K and you have 50K to invest, is 1 or 2K share count? To be honest with you, if you have 50K cash and your entire net worth is 200K, I would advise you to just start with 1,000 shares and keep 30,000 as a reserve emergency fund. I like to see 10% of somebody's net worth in cash or cash equivalents or something you can get to readily in case you need it. Maracas, that's right. Yeah, castanets, I thought, are those little clappy things. Thank you, Zach G. Appreciate that. But I don't want to, maybe Tortuga de Rio, they're called something else. I don't know. Definitely not discounting you. But yeah, I would start with the 1K DC lights out, and then I would just, dip a toe in the water. Maybe if as you get some more money, keep your cash reserve in place, keep your emergency money in place, and then just keep adding, 50 or 100 shares, as your finances permit. That would be my advice. 'Cause, yeah, I don't, guys, I love SoFi, and I know I'm a huge pumper and I'm a huge mega bull, but at the end of the day, this is just a stock. It can go down. It can crash. They could have, they could catch Chris Lapointe with a dead hooker in his trunk. I don't think that's going to happen. Seems like a very, very wholesome family man, so I don't think that's going to happen. But guys, I've seen crazy, crazy shit happen. I've seen stocks that I thought were absolutely bulletproof get crushed. And most of all, even if SoFi goes bad and even if I lose my money on it, I don't want to see you guys get hurt because the way I've set up my life, I ain't going to get hurt. I still got rent coming in from so many different places. I set things up very, very conservatively. So no matter what happens to one single stock or one single sector, or even if the whole stock market goes bad, I'm a BI. I'm BI. I'm a survivor, guys. I'm not going to give up. I'm like the Beyonce of fat white guys with man boobs. The only thing we have in common is great thighs, but I got short thighs. I got short, fat legs. God bless me with those. My nickname used to be Friction, and it changed to Chafing. Chafing dish. I don't need a chafing dish when you got thighs rubbing together at this rate. See me run. So adding 2 cents a quarter to EPS. That's just so conservative. It's absolutely ridiculous. Incremental margins are now so high that 2 cents should be seen as a floor. when a company hits 31% EBITDA margins, 17% net revenue margins, the total of their overall revenue that's now fee based, operating leverage is clearly accelerating. You don't just get 2 cents per quarter, you get compounding. At this stage of the game, incremental margins often run 40 to 60%. That means every new dollar could be dropping 40 to 60% in profit. That's why my model is extremely conservative. The business mix is shifting toward capital light revenue. Let me make sure I'm not on mute. Sorry. I just can't stop. I have nightmares. I'm on mute. I'm on mute. This is the real unlock. Tech platform financial services revenue is growing way faster than lending. These segments and lending is still growing pretty rapidly, which is a good thing because it's a very profitable business, very important business. And the lending business goes hand in hand with, I think, all the deposit business. So it's very symbiotic. It's a good marriage, like that dude and what's her name? Kill Bill. Not Gwyneth Paltrow. I want to say Gwyneth Paltrow. I want to say lady who's in all the goddamn Tarantino movies. My mind is just shit. Don't get old, guys. It sucks. Everything hurts. Uma Thurman. Everything sucks. You can't think. And David Carradine. That was weird, dude. Of killing himself. The accidental autoerotic asphyxiation. Um, so as they become the majority of revenue, EPS accelerates without needing balance sheet growth. That is why 2 cents per quarter is such a low ball. Number 4, deposit growth is lowering funding costs every quarter. We already talked a little bit about this. 97%. This is what AI is telling me. I don't know if it's actually true, but I know it's very, very high. So I don't like to rely on statistics from AI because they usually pull them from some god awful sources. But the vast majority of the deposits are coming from direct deposits. That's growing every quarter. That's lowering the cost of funds, and that is expanding the net interest margin. This alone should lead to a 1 to 2 cents per quarter in EPS tailwind. The model ignores buybacks, which will come eventually. As SoFi hits sustained profitability and capital surplus, buybacks become inevitable. Even modest buybacks accelerate EPS beyond my 2 cent assumption. The model ignores operating leverage from fixed costs. SoFi's cost base is largely fixed: tech, compliance, infrastructure, cloud, engineering. When revenue grows, costs don't grow proportionally. That's why EPS growth accelerates faster than revenue. The model ignores the platform flywheel. Galileo, Technesis, SoFi Bank, a vertically integrated fintech stack. As more partners on board, platform revenues grow near zero incremental costs. That's pure EPS leverage. And you are going to see growth in that tech. You might not see them coming over full scale into the, putting their entire business on Galileo, but Galileo can sell components. Galileo can sell modules, AWS. Hopefully they'll start selling that on all the, cloud providers from Amazon, from, Google, from Microsoft, from some of these other new players that are coming on board. The model ignores credit normalization tailwind. Credit costs peaked in 2024, 2025. Also, that would be, defaults, delinquencies have all been coming down since their peak. I think it was like a year plus ago. Like Q3 2024 or something, I think. I have to look back, guys. I do all this off the top of my head, so I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm barely know where I am. I gotta eat something. I'm so hungry. Not funny. Like when you're fat and you say you're hungry, but like, oh, fat, you probably ate an hour ago. I haven't eaten since like 5 o'clock yesterday, and I ate a salad, motherfucker. I must have some kind of thyroid problem because I'm walking. I walk like 6, 7, 8, 10 miles a day. I'm eating like a rabbit. I stopped eating tacos. I'm not eating any sweets. I'm not eating any sugar. I gave up coffee, and I'm still fat as hell. No justice, no peace. No piece of pizza. No justice, no piece of pizza for me because I'm fat. Sad but true, guys. Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme. Beauty and the Beast. So credit costs peaked as they normalize, provision expense drops, net income jumps, EPS accelerates. Another reason 2 cents is conservative. The model ignores the student loan tailwind. Student loan refi is still below pre-pause levels. Any normalization adds incremental EPS. The model ignores the fact that SoFi is now a scaled bank. Banks don't, this is really actually important. Banks don't grow EPS linearly. They grow in steps as leverage kicks in. And SoFi is entering that phase with the operating leverage. What's going on, guys? Yeah, Uma Thurman. Sorry, I actually thought of it for once. My brain actually worked. I wonder if SoFi will fall below 18. It seems to be finding a bottom. It looks like they really have this thing pegged at 1950, Katie. And the reason I think they have it pegged there is because they want to demoralize you and they want you to get impatient and they want you to think there's a better opportunity somewhere else. Also, they know like when it comes to tax time, people need money. You know, people have to pay their taxes. They have to decide what to sell. I think they play on all this stuff. They play on our schedules. They play on our fears. They play on our tiny wing insecurities, you know, our mommy issues, our daddy issues, sharing Fintel rather. Oh, sorry guys. I don't even know what I'm sharing here. I'm just blabbering. Um, but anyway, so yeah, back at 1950, they really had this thing pegged at 1950. Um, anyway, if you look at my model, just to get to 68 cents this year, a dollar next year, and a dollar 32 the year after that, they're adding 2 cents every quarter to EPS, which I think is absurdly low. Because I think by, you know, they'll add 3 cents this year and then they'll add 4 cents next year. If you start to plug those models in, this stock is just absurdly undervalued. Doesn't matter how you value it. If you like I was explaining, you know, a few weeks ago when I was beating this dead horse, is if you take a CAGR assumption from 20 and you put it to a more realistic 30, the fair value of the company under most models will increase something right around 60%. And are they even trying to really value the company? See these Simply Wall Street, is it? Or these they put out these auto-generated articles every single day that SoFi is worth 14. Oh, it really grinds my gears. Really grinds my gears. No, so look at incremental margins because that's why they built this company. That's the whole point. Don't you get it? The flywheel reduces customer acquisition costs, increase EPS. The deposits fund the company much cheaper than they would through a warehouse facility or some other means. The whole thing is built to be a free cash flow machine. And we're going to start seeing the evidence of that in the operating leverage. It's just going to be undeniable. Right now, they can still kind of sell it because it's like, EPS, you know, the EPS and forward EPS still looks very, very high, but they were just making 6 cents at the start of last year. Now, at the start of this year, I predict they'll be making 14 cents. Think about that year on year. You're talking about growing EPS over 100%. You're talking about growing the top line, you know, 35% while you grow the bottom line over 100%. Now, I know you're starting so low. That's not a real proportional, it's not a real defensible example. But as you get into 22 cents, 28 cents EPS in a quarter, it becomes much more realistic and much more manageable. Think about proportionally going from, you know, 6 to 8 versus going from 30 to 32. From 30 to 32, you're only talking about, you know, an increase of like 7% or something. So it just becomes more and more and more absurdly conservative. I think in 2028, SoFi can make $1.50. And I know people will rip me for that. They say you're fat and dumb. Perhaps a valid criticism. I don't know. Anyway, guys, that's my spiel. God, that was 52 minutes. That's what I say. I got to make it quick. What did Carl say? Good question. I heard Katie say good question. Do you think, I don't know if they can get it there, Carl, because they got to get it down below 22. I know it's only another, you know, 10% drop, but it's a big 10%. I think institutions, here's the thing. If they thought that retail was that weak and they could take it down to 15 and get you to dump at a stop loss at 15, but that's not our mentality anymore. We're wolves, we're not sheep. And I hope we're not fear-based investors. I hope we're evidence-based investors. And when you're an evidence-based investor, you have nothing to fear but fear itself. That quote has never been more apropos, folks. You have nothing to fear but the fear. They want you afraid. They want your tiny wing shriveled up like a frightened turtle, where you can't even see that bad boy. Got to coax it out with one of those patented penis pumps that Neo's selling in the Neo houses. But no, I didn't necessarily think it's going to get S&P 500 inclusion, you know, but it doesn't have to have that sustained market cap for like, you know, it can't drop below. You have to wait another 2 years. It doesn't work like that. And that market cap is not a fixed, requirement. It's sort of a fuzzy math. So yeah, that's what I've been thinking is like they're trying to push it down where it can't get S&P 500 inclusion so they can accumulate more before that point. But eventually SoFi is going to get out of the S&P 500. I mean, listen, if they're making 70 cents, for instance, this year and $1.10 next year, they're not going to be able to hold this stock down below 30 because the growth story is just far, far too compelling. Jay Scofi likes SoFi to go back to 5. I don't know. UPS, the last two capital. And guys, even remember in Q4 with them going from, 10 cents to 12 cents, those new shares were in there and they had not deployed the capital yet. So I think that's a little bit deceptive as well. I mean, without that, they might have been, half a cent higher or whatever. Anthony Skripowski, I'm the single and only one with the like button. Nobody likes, nobody subs. And that's fine with me, Anthony. I like a niche audience. I like a small cult audience. It's fine. I'm not trying to grow the channel. I hate this channel. It sucks. Thanks, Anthony. Yeah, get on him. Get on him. Yeah, Poochie, 15's possible. I mean, if you remember, I don't know if you've watched my videos before, but I was saying, numerous times that I did not see any support on the chart between once the stock dropped below 21. I didn't see any real support on the chart till like 1460 or something like that. So it is very possible. It's very possible the stock goes down. What's up, Ghost? Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. I already commented on your pecs being a little bit too firm for my taste. This show's more built for a man sporting a set of man boobs, but we'll let you off with a warning on this one. Just stop working out so hard. You're making me look bad. You look like you might do some noodling. You familiar with noodling? Where you get down on the bank of a river, shove your hand in a muddy hole, try to catch a big catfish. You look like a man who could definitely do some noodling. Look like a man who knows how to fix a motorcycle. Look like a man who doesn't need help changing a tire. Like a man who wears a denim jacket with a patch on the back. Look like a man who could actually perhaps take a headbutt from Steve Areno and still be standing. Though I don't think that's humanly possible. Nobody likes getting hit in the face by a big piece of granite. I might, if I can get maybe for like $100 million, I would take a headbutt from Steve. Just have a facial reconstructive surgeon sitting in the weight. SoFi has an inverse cup and handle. So does my Wang. Bearish continuation pattern, possible comeback 18-ish, 1960 might be a resistance level that was support. Well. Mr. Good News. Brian with a Y. No, you're right. You're right. Could go down, guys. Could go down. You like them French fried potatoes? French fried potatoes. With that little sling blade reference. Of course I do, Swizzer. Look at me. I'm bodied by French fried potatoes. A component of one of my favorite foods on earth, the California burrito. California burrito, French fries, cheese, sour cream, carne asada. Got some shrimp in there, usually a little bit of white sauce, a little bit of red salsa. Sometimes some cabbage, sometimes some lechuga, or as we say, cajo. Sling Blade. Yeah, Sling Blade, that was quite a character. Billy Bob Thornton's a really good actor. He's a little bit skeevy. I mean, kind of creeps me out with those tattoos and stuff, but it's kind of like a vampire. I don't know. The Timmy. If you see 15, you buy because you will get a double fast. Yeah, if this stock goes back to 15, I'm going to make an absurd buy. And SoFi is going to become a lot more of my portfolio. I'm going to have to make some decisions. Maybe I'll sell Google. Maybe I'll sell some Microsoft. Maybe I'll sell some Tesla. Maybe I'll sell some more Chase. Maybe I'll sell some more Bank of America. Maybe I'll sell whatever. Anything I own. Maybe I'll sell an apartment building. But whatever it is, if they take this thing to 15, I'm going to make a 6-figure buy. Definitely. Yeah, probably buy like 10,000 shares at that point. Yeah, Landman. Everybody loves Landman, but I canceled my cable. Once COVID ended, I threw my TV out, and that was it. So I don't watch for anything. Carl Seamark's already fully bought his position, but it doesn't really suck for you because you own a lot of shares. So when this thing goes back up to all-time highs and beyond, gets S&P 500 inclusion, You're gonna feel like a freaking genius. Would you do any leaps on SoFi? It's really hard. I do recommend leaps, but you have to know how to play them. I honestly, my honest feeling is for the average retail investor, the best thing you can do is a wheel strategy or just buy shares and sell covered calls. So I would recommend, unless you're sophisticated and you know a lot about options, I would suggest you stay away from options other than selling covered calls and running a wheel strategy. But cash secured puts, covered calls, and that's it. That's where you're going to make some money. Um, but I'm not an options expert and I don't purport to be. So I will let somebody a little bit smarter than me answer that question. I bought my 5 and 10 calls and got them at less than 9. I'll start to buy if it gets 15. I don't need any more. There you go. You're well positioned. Brian with a Y, have you watched The Pit? Is very, very good. I cry all the time. No, I haven't. I haven't, to be honest with you. I haven't even watched any TV whatsoever in years. You might go to other people's houses. They put on TV. I'm like, yeah, I'm out. Can't do it. Um, anyway, guys, I have no idea what this show is all about. What do you know? SoFi back at 1950. Been basically algo holding it here for what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4 trading days now, and this is where it came back down and hit the low here. So I don't know. It looks like support right now, but it certainly didn't bounce. The shorts actually going back up a little bit too, guys. It was just 8.75 back up to 19.25. So this went up just half a point in a couple days, which is not insignificant. But if you look at the structure of the short, with short interest being 115 million, shares on loan being 85 million, it certainly doesn't look like they're in a position to attack the stock from here. It doesn't look like they're you gotta so you guys are hilarious, man. I actually like you guys. I don't have any friends, so that's kind of where I go with. You got to give us a Tony Beats message before. I'll give you a nice, inspirational, positive Tony Beats message for sure. I don't know, guys. I'm trying to think of something like Parker. Parker, let me. I love the way he just is willing to just shit all over Parker. And then in the same breath, when he needs it, just ask Parker for a favor. He's like, come on, Parker, we're in the same business. Like, yeah, but Tony, when I said I needed your help, you told me to go fuck yourself and you punched me in the eye. Go fuck myself and punch me right in the eye. He's like, I know I did, Parker. And that wasn't a mistake because you're an annoying little brat. Your grandpa gave you a gold mine. I can't stand you. I'm a self-made man. You're a little shit. But, no, anyway. How do I hype this video up? You don't, man. Don't try to hype me up, guys. Just people are like, oh, you should have so many viewers. You should have some. No, I shouldn't. No, I shouldn't. Deserves got nothing to do with it. I'm very, very happy to just kind of blow off some steam. Basically, the whole point of doing this was so Princess J didn't have to listen to me. Because I talk no matter what. So if I can talk it all out over just an hour of incessant blabbering at you poor souls, I'm going to do that. SoFi call wall for the next 3 weeks starts at 20. Could be a good strike price. Yeah, I've been selling covered calls pretty aggressively here the last week. What? It's a great question, Timmy. What is he doing? I hope we're going to get some clarity on that, some color on that. I love how people who try to sound smart, can you give us a little more color on that? They always say that on the analyst questions at the earnings report. Can you just give us some color on that? Shut up. You don't need an MBA to say these little buzzwords. That is a no-brainer. Tevis 3000 2.0. Poco SoFi PEG ratio be grossly low. 2026 and 27 EPS current price. Yeah, I think 2026 are going to make 68 70 cents. Sandy's left foot, but what do I know? Just a big fat jerk. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate you watching. Don't know why you do, but thank you anyway. It's un poco mas. Y'all heard? Sure, I'll give you just a little more. Have a great afternoon, guys. We'll talk to you soon. I'm going to try to do a prop video. I need to do an SMCI video. I need to do an IOVA video. Really, really want to look at IOVA because everybody's saying institutions have been buying that sucker like crazy. So we're going to try to make that happen for you guys if at all possible. Peace. I'm out. I'm out, Parker. I'm out of the game, Parker. I'll sell you my claim for $40 billion. Tony, that claim's been mined dry. It's not even worth anything. You're trying to sell me tailings. He's like, oh, you're a clever boy, Parker. Go fuck yourself. Get off my property now or I'm going to shoot you with my shotgun right in the balls. He's like, but this is my property, Tony. I hate you, Parker. I hate you.